Okay, better. Let me do it. It's going to be. Let me build it from the very scratch again, so I can, and you guys can follow me really. Just one step at a time. Okay, give me a second. Let me share my screen guys, so I can show you what I'm trying to do here. Just a second. Just one second, and then I'll start from here. So first of all, everyone, yeah, okay. So let's do it once more. So what I'm doing is I'm creating SCD1 job. Okay. What we did, we said we want to use our customer table, right? So just bring the customer table here and say input. Okay. And then yes, these properties are fine. So now here you will see we got the customer table, and now the next step what I said is I want to bring only the specific field. So I don't need this created date, updated date, last updated date. I don't need this information, address ID even I don't need. Then what else we don't need is store ID. I don't need, right? Correct. This is fine. Yes. Right. So now once this is done, click OK. And if you are using even this one, Talent Fabric, which is installed in your virtual machine, means this is a property of the premium edition. You will be having something here called data viewer. If you will click on that, you will be able to view the data also. Okay, so now next what I need is I want to create a SCD. So for the SCD, what I need is I need a SCD component. Okay, and which database? I want the MySQL database, right? Now I don't want to specify the connection, so I just take the TDB connection. Okay, and as it is going to be a pre-job, I'll just add the pre-job. Means these are the complementary options which we have, right? So I will select MySQL. Okay, and then I will say property type to a database, right? This is fine, and then I'm going to okay. Now, next what I said, I've selected certain fields and I want to map them to my database. So the thing here is, now what I'll prefer is you can bring the SCD component, even you can bring the table also. Means let's say we were talking about the dim customer, right? We can bring it like this and select the component as well. Or what I'll suggest, you can first bring the just the SCD one, okay, and then you will say main and connect to it. So once it has been connected now, we are only going to get, as the table name is not specified, right? We are not going to get anything which is not there at the source but available into the targets. What does that mean is, now if I click on the SCD editor, I can see only Okay. I've changed the query but have not updated the schema, so I have to update it. And I'm going to make this as a key also. Okay. Now, if I will go to my SCD editor, I can see only the fields which is required. Customer ID, email, first name, last name. Correct? So customer ID was source key, email, last name, first name was my type 1 field. Right? Have we done till here? Please confirm me. Just give me a yes into the chat window for everyone. If not, then follow these same steps and complete till here first. Right? Okay. I'm seeing that yes, you're able to do it. Now, what was the primary key field name? So the primary key field name was PK underscore customer key or anything. Means, not necessarily anything. So I'll say PK underscore customer key. Right? Done. Now, I was hoping that you have noticed one thing, but I'm not sure. We were not able to capture the update and the insert at the SCD type 1, right? We were able to only capture the changes into the fields, but we were not able to capture the insert date and the last updated date while we were working with the SCD type 1, correct? We were having these two fields, create date and the last date, but if you will have noticed that they were empty, there were no data into this until unless I have made them SCD type 2. The reason is when you will create a SCD type 1 using the component which is SCD editor, this versioning is only valid for the SCD type 2. It is not valid for the SCD type 1. Okay, so now how we are going to check that? Now there are the two ways you can do it. One is, I hope you are guys following right what I'm trying to say. If anyone is having doubt at any point, please let me know. One is you can. So while you are defining the table structure, right, one thing is you can always give them the date time, create date as a default value, correct? Default of the fifth date, which is the current timestamp. Another thing is for the last updated date, what you can say is timestamp null default current time on update current timestamp. Means whenever there is any update will happen, that data should get, this last updated date also should get updated, but that is something which we have to depend on the database, but we don't want to have a dependency on the database. So now how we can solve this issue? For that, what simply you can do is, see, what is the create date? Create date is you don't want to change that information. Once it is inserted, you don't want to change that. So how we can achieve this thing is first insert and after that never will change. That something can be achieved with the help of type 0. And what is the last updated date is it's basically a type 1. That means whenever there is a change into the data, so that will get changed to the database as well, right? So for that, now this is fine. I mean, this is a working SCD. Are we able to achieve till here? Everyone? Yes, no? Yes. Imran said yes. Rama said yes. Okay. Yes. All right. Now, what I said is we want the values into this create date and the update date as well. Okay. So there are one way to do it, or else maybe multiple ways to do it. But what I'm going to do here is we have something called tmap. And if you remember, with the help of tmap, we can always generate the columns. You remember last time we created the output date with the help of the tmap. So now what I'll do is I'll just delete it for a while and I'll select my customer and say row main there. Okay. Open my tmap. I'm going to say is output SCD. Okay. I'll take all my fields and bring it here. Plus, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add two more fields. One, I'm going to say create underscore date, and then I'm going to say update underscore date. Okay, date at time I'm going to specify. Now, how we can write expression here is we will go to this ellipsis, go to the talent date and specify this get current date, right? Get current date we can specify. I'm going to take this as well. Click OK. And similarly for the other one also, I'm going to add it. So now what's happened is we have added customer date, last updated date, and this create date, update date is not equivalent to the what we have at the database level already. This is different from that. This is going to be generated at the talent level, right? So once this is done, apply. Okay. Now what you can do is output SCD connect to it. Okay. So now once you do that, you will come here and you go to your SCD editor. You will see that two more fields, create date and update date is available to you. Now, as I mentioned, what is the create date? It is going to be the type 0 because it is never going to change, right? And then what else? The updated date is going to be what? It is going to change whenever there is a new data. So I'm going to just bring it here, right? Update date into the update date. As it is not SCD type 2, so we can simply say that yes, it's not SCD type 2 and that's fine. Now once this is done, SCD is being created. But what I have to do is now I have to specify the connection. So first of all, I will say that connection I can take from the, sorry guys, this. So I'm going to take that connection and these details have been added. Now what else we need is we need the name of the table. So if you have already created the table, then you can choose that particular table. So let's say we have created this table already, right, which was dim customer, correct? And dim customer we will specify here. Okay, and then we have to synchronize the columns as well. So for that, what we will do, we will go to the edit schema, and now you will see that there is something called column and there is something called DB column. So customer ID is definitely I have to uncheck as a key. First name is what equivalent to the first name. Last name is equivalent to the last name. Email is equivalent to email. Then we have a create underscore date, which I'm just going to change it to create underscore date. And then what we have is we have a last underscore update. So updated date, I'm going to say that last underscore update. So the mapping can happen correctly. Okay, and then what we have first column as a PK underscore customer key, right? Click OK, save it. Means we can add the rejects to it. So for that, I'm going to bring uh, rejects, right? I'm going to, okay. We're going to always synchronize the columns. If it is required, include the header, append the file. If the file exists, sorry. Uh, Okay, so these things are fine. Edit schema. Now, if you want to change any columns or something, remove add, you can do it. So let's say, but for that again, we have to add the T map and the stuff. So I'm just keeping it as it is. Click OK, save it, save, and then what we need is we need a DB commit as well. So not necessary, but to complete the job, I'm going to add it DB commit, and this one I'm going to. Okay, so right? Save it. Okay, so what was the table? Just mention that we specify the table name correctly. There's no data also in our this main table. I'll run this and hope it's going to run without any error. Okay, yes, 349, everything looks fine, and let's see. So here now we have the data loaded into our table, right? Now let's see what I'm going to do is let's just change some information. Okay, and let's execute it again. So here we should have the latest value plus the last updated date also changed. So now you can see that yes, the value has been changed plus the last updated date also has been updated here. There's only one drawback with this is it's going to always stamp the last updated date for all the records, right? That's what only I'll see as a drawback. But otherwise, we can check that yes, when the record has been inserted and the record has been updated and the data is going to get updated like this. So now tell me who is able to do this and who is still facing the issues.
When I'm running the graph, I'm still getting this Java error.
Okay, so have you been designed the way that I have done it, or you have feel that anything has been missed?
Mm, no, the pre-check and DB connect I haven't used.
Who else is facing the Java issue? The Koti has given me some error he is facing. Unknown column SCD underscore end into the where close. You have said that main Java SCD type example, some Java error DB component you are getting error. Okay. So is it still same? Has it has been resolved for you, Lavanya, or we are still facing that Java issue?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get me.
I am saying that is your issue is still same or is the error has been changed?
Um, yeah, error got changed, but still the Java error I'm getting.
Okay, one second. Let me make you present and see what is the error. We'll do it quickly then. I can see two. Which one I should make you the presenter with your full name or just with your name?
Just allow me. The logo cannot be easily read.
Okay, you missed the timestamp. You okay? I'll explain it again, Irfan. Imran, sorry. How we'll do the timestamp thing? Just give me a minute. Yes, I made you the presenter. Yeah. Have you made any changes after that? I can't even
Mm,
take the. I can
no,
take the
just
control screen. No, I'm not seeing.
yesterday editor I have done, but I didn't do
Okay,
anything.
start this one. Okay, so see again there is a issue how you're doing it. Cancel it once. First of all, remove this SCD component itself. Yeah. Okay. Now wait. Don't bring it from there. You are not okay. Bring it from this TDB SCD. Yeah. Bring it. Now yes. Just give the properties means not the table database table name. Just give the connection properties. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Now connect them together. The customer and the DBS. Okay. Now go to the TDB SCD. Go to the SCD editor. Right. Maximize it. Yes. Scroll down 1 second. Yeah. Customer ID. Then take your first name, last name, email to the SCD type 1 fields. Yeah. Bring everything here. Last name. Okay. Uh, there's some issue you are getting for sure. Click OK once. Go to your customer. Okay. Scroll down. Down. What is your query? Can you show me the query once? Click OK. Now click on guest schema. Guest schema, not query. Guest schema. No, 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 no. That's what the mistake is happening. Okay, wait. No, cancel it. Go back to your edit query. Scroll right. Yeah, yeah. Remove this customer. Oh, you are having a customer. Okay, remove it. Yes. Yeah, just bring only customer ID, first name, last name, and email. Just 4 columns and remove the other ones. Right, yeah. Click on the yes. Okay, guest schema now. Click on the guest schema. See, here is some error looking you are having. Can you show me your customer table structure first of all? Just expand, not here into the metadata, expand it. Yeah, yeah, here also it is fine. Not dim customer, the customer table. Yes. Okay, this is fine. Go back to the talent. Okay. Click. Just click on the go above. Edit the scheme. No. Go to the scroll right. Go above. There will be something called edit schema. Yeah, click on the edit schema. Yes, remove this columns like which you have PK, right? Yeah, remove that column itself. Not just like remove it. There is a yes. Remove this last updated date and the stuff also. Okay, make the customer ID as the key. Right, click OK. Yes. Okay, now go to your DB SCD1. Yes, go to the SCD editor. Right, so you have specified now what is you specify the PK underscore customer key into the surrogate keys.
Should I click OK?
Yeah. Yes, just click OK, save it. Means connect this output to the file delimited as well. Yes, save it. Just specify the path for the yes. Synchronize the columns. Yeah, that's fine. SCD type 1 has compiled error. Okay, just go to the line number 1065 and see what is the error you are getting there into the code. Yes, go to the code. 1065. Yes, go now. Okay, One second, close this one. Okay, go back to the designer. Go back to the designer. While you are clicking on the run, right, and go to the advanced settings. Just remove the statistics which you have checked. Scroll down. Yeah, run it now. GVM compatible. Do you have 1 point? Okay, no, Java will be there, but this is becoming. Give me a second. Is anyone else is also facing the same issue? Guys, can you help me here? Is anyone else is also facing the same issue? What Lavanya is facing? No. Okay.
No,
Error line. Now you'll see your error has been moved to another line to fix it. Can you go back to the code? No, no, no. Wait. Run start. Iterated ID. Load is fixed here. Run start. Okay. Go to this advanced settings once and see that what has been. Scroll down. Down. Go to the target execution. Go to the debug run. Memory run. All right. Why is it getting this error? Okay, do one thing. No, close this talent fabric and just reopen once again. Yeah, close this one and reopen again. In the meantime, let me share my screen and okay. So what I was saying here is, if it is done for you, then what you should be doing is so if it is done, then what I wanted to do is create a this job has been done, right? Is it done for others, or you are still facing anyone else is facing any issue apart from Lavanya? All right. So now create a SCD type 2, but that should not be for the same table. Let's do it for the another table for the address table, right? So we're creating a new job now. And as we are creating a new job, so I'm interested in taking even a new table so we can see that. So what table I'm going to take here is, let's say that we have our address table. Yeah, address ID, district, postal code, phone. Okay, so I'm going to take the address table for the type 2, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll bring my address table quickly, input, done. Yes, so now when I'm doing this, I'm going to remove the columns which is not required. So what columns not required? Address to district, city ID is one column I don't need. Postal code, phone, location, last update date also I don't need. Okay, so these are the columns which we have received, and then I'm going to say get schema, so the schema will get updated automatically. Yes, these are the fields, and I'm going to make this as a primary key, right? Okay, so follow till this step here, everyone. Follow this step. Okay. Now what I want is I want to connect. Sorry, before I
Sahil, what columns you removed from the table? Uh,
one second. I just removed the district ID and the last update. Means because if I need the district ID, sorry, yeah, city ID, not the district ID.
yeah, thank you.
Sure. All right. So here we go. Now once it's done, I'm going to make this as a MySQL apply. Okay, and I'm interested in using repository connection. So okay, now table, two options are there. One is we can create from here directly, or one is we can create from the database. So let's see, we will create from here. Okay, so we'll adjust the schema and everything. So now I'm going to make this as a main, right? Now the main thing starts at the SCD editor. Okay. So in the SCD editor, what we need is address ID is going to be my source, and the other fields which I have is I'm going to bring them to the type 2. So that means if any of the fields will change, I'm going to take this as a type 2 field only. Okay. Then what we have is, let's say we need SCD start. I'm going to call it as a start date. This one I'm going to call it as a end underscore date, right? And if you need the version, let's say we need the version as well. So I'm going to keep it as a version. I'm going to check this one, right? And this is fine. Now active flag I don't choose for now. Okay. So let it be like that. Right. So once this is done, all things are fine. And here, why I have not added the create date and the last updated date is because I don't need the last updated date. Right. And the start date is going to be same to the create date. Okay. So we don't need these things. Only thing what I need is I need to add a surrogate key. So I will say that surrogate key is PA underscore address underscore key. Okay. Done. Click OK, save it, or just for the rejects I'm going to bring this one and link it here and say that. Now I'll convince this would have done it later. So these things when are done, I specified the table name and I'm going to say that create table if does not exist, or if it is already exists you can keep it as a default itself. Now as we want to synchronize the schema, so I'll say manually edit the schema. And here, let's see first two the things. Address ID is not going to be a key, so I have to remove them. Then primary key. Okay, this is the key, right? So start date, I'm going to map to the start date, end date, version to the version. These things look fine. Location, if it is showing as an object, let it be a object data type. Okay, propagate the changes. Here, I'm going to just synchronize the schema, save it, and let's execute the job. So 200, 600 records were there into the source. Let's see how many we got into the. We have address SCD2 and we have received the data in our target as well, right? We have the primary key, start date for all the record, version is one, record all the things. Now we want to verify that it's working fine or not. So what I'm going to do is I'll update my data at the source table. Say update Sakina dot address, that let's say address is equal to 1283, right? Okay. So one record has been updated. Now let's see if I'll run this one, what happens. The code has been, let's see. So what should have happened is we have, okay. Oh, mm, something has wrong. Why now here you can see it is not coming as correctly because let's see what is the issue. Order by. So here, what I actually feeling what is happening is we have this location, right, which is the blob data storage plus we have the null. So when we will compare this null and the blob is it's creating the issue. So let's see. I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the location and the address too for a while. Okay, and let's just truncate and reload the things because these are not the issue with the talent. These are the properties of the databases that when you will compare two nulls, right, in the databases they will not be same, and similarly for the blob storage as well. First let's run it. Now, Can you check what is the issue with the statement? Address ID, address, district, phone number. Create table. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So there were some unused columns. So metadata is not matching.
No, it should match because let's
That is
just.
a
Okay. I have just updated the metadata. So unused column is fine. I have removed them already, so it should be fine. Let's see. Address ID. I'm just adjusting the structure. Give me a second. Once done, then yeah. So here we have address, ID, address, district. Same thing here. We have address, ID, address, district, postal code, phone, and the start date and the stuff. Right? And schema editor. Everything looks fine. Okay. Here just last time let's recognize it. So now we have the data from the source, okay, and let's see, I'm going to create something here. Update it's only one row should be, so see, now it is correct. We have previously this one, and now we have only one more record inserted into the database, right? So this is how the SCD type 2 works. The previous issue, the yeah, six, yes. The previous issue was because of our this comparing the null and not even the null, comparing the blob storage, right? That was the issue due to which we were not able to compare the two different data sets. Okay. So if you want, let me just send you this script for create table. Do this quickly, and then we will move further with our other topics. And if it is done, then we will show you that how you can combine multiple jobs together into one single job and execute them either into the parallel or into the sequential. Is it clear to everyone how we will do the SCD type 2? Anyone, any doubts?
Uh, Sahil, will it not allow to unused columns to stay there?
No, it will. It will allow that. I just removed it so we don't have any, because if you have more unused column unnecessarily, you are putting load at the source level as well because you are fetching the more data, right? And you are not using them. So that should be fine. You just have to then what needs to be done is you have to adjust your schema accordingly. Okay, that's it. Apart from that, there's not going to be any issue when you have any unused column.
Yeah, whenever for those unused columns, it was showing that LA exclamatory mark for that. Is that fine if we have any exclamatory mark for components in the job?
No, no, means definitely not on the target and here why it was showing was because our schema was not into the synchronization. First of all, I had the external what I have did firstly, I had removed the column from the query but have not updated the schema, so that's why that was the issue, and then I have removed it from the schema editor here. Okay, but still I have not removed it from my source. So that's why there was a mismatch between the schema and it was creating this exclamate, this warning symbol it is coming.
Okay, Sahil.
Yeah.
Sahil Amrita, yeah.
Yes, Amrita.
The last workout which we done SST, SST1, for me, all the records are going to reject file.
Come again.
The SST1, the
S
last
STD1, yes.
one, yeah. So for that, my all the rigid records are going to the file. Not my table count is becoming zero.
Okay. Can I make you the presenter?
Yeah, but yes, can you make it because I'm having Wi-Fi issue here. I don't know whether I'm able to show it the screen.
Just try if you can. Otherwise, we'll go through. Which one? Yeah, this one only, right? Or the other screen? Hello.
Hello.
I'm saying that on this particular, you are logged in through two accounts, right? One is Amruta and one is Amruta KG with your initial. So, which one should I make as a presenter? This one only or the other one?
Amrita.
Okay. Let's implement this SCD1. So, after that, we will talk about our another component, which is T run job. Yes. Try.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not able to share the screen. Can you just make me? There's one more name popping up, right? Can you just make me as presenter? That name because I have
Sorry.
connected to my. I'm not able to share my screen actually. It's
Okay,
showing
no
inactive.
problem. Okay, no problem. Let me go through the SCD1 and see what step. Let's verify our steps one by one. Sorry, I'll just keep you in the mute. So if anything is there, you can unmute yourself and let me know. So first of all, we have done this customer. These are the optionals. I'm not going to talk about that. You can remove it as well. Not necessary. Customer. Okay, and here into the customer, what we have done is we have used a repository connection and we have selected these fields. Okay, so check that if you have only these many fields available, right? If you have checked these things, then
Yeah,
what next?
yes, yes.
Yeah, then what you have to make sure that your schema is also having these fields only, that whatever the query is giving, only those fields are available in your schema as well. So for that, click on the ellipsis here for that it's schema and check the number of fields.
I have used Gesima, yes.
Is it matching?
It's taking time on me.
Okay, no problem.
You have clicked on guest schema, right?
I have no. First, I clicked on the guest schema. So with that, what happens is all the fields which is available here, they will be propagated to the schema as well. Then after that, I have just made that as a key and clicked OK. And after that, later, if you want to verify that what is the schema, then I have clicked on the edit schema.
Yeah. Actually, I'm having Wi-Fi issue. It's pretty slow actually.
Okay. So you are not connected in a local, you're using the talent VM.
No, actually, it's all stuck.
Is it working now? Means your talent.
No, Shahila, I'll just ping you back. I'm getting some issues with my network.
Okay. Sure, sure. You can let me know once it's coming back, then we'll go through it. Okay. So, guys, this was about your SCD1 and SCD2. I hope it's working for everyone now. Can you please let me know if anyone is having any issue into the SCD2? All set for everyone? Okay, that's good. So now we are going to talk about two things today. One is about a T-run job component that how does it work? Okay. So now let's say we have this. Can you go through SCD2 once again? Sure, Satish. I'll go through it once again. Yeah. No problem. Let me know if you are facing any time any issues or something. We will always here to explain. Do we understand the concept of SCD2? That it is going to maintain the history of the data, right? So first of all, what I'm doing is I'm creating SCD2 on my address data, right? I want to capture the historical information for the address. So first thing what I have done is I took my address table, and from the address table I have took the specific fields which where I'm using address ID as my natural key, which is business key, then address, district, postal code, phone, and the address, right? So these are the fields which I'm using from the address table, correct? Okay. Now, once these fields are selected, then what next I have to say is, I will say that guess schema. Why so? Because by default, there were more fields into the table. Okay, so I have removed certain fields. So talent should be able to adjust the new schema what I have. And as address ID is the key fields, I'm just going to specify as a key field here. Okay, so with this, what will happen is if you are getting any duplicate data, right? So it's going to give an error in the talent, read step itself. Okay, so once this is done, what next I'm going to say is click OK, and my talent schema is all set for the address. Means my source schema is all set. Next, what I have used is TDB SCD. Okay, now for this one, what we have said is we have took our talent connection for the MySQL, and we have selected the table name which is D underscore address SCD. So I have said if it is not exist, then create the table. If it exists, then let it be. Then once this is done, now let's go to the SCD editor. Here we need to understand that what we have done. So here what I have done is address ID, which was the part of the unused columns. I have moved it to a source key. That means it is the key on based on which I'm going to identify whether the record is a new record or a existing record, right? Okay. So once that is done, what next I've done is I've specified.
Sahil, one question. So here unused column should be coming from where? Is it from the
Unused.
destination or from the source?
No. Unused columns coming from the source. So let's say if I'll
Okay.
let me remove this one. Okay. Right. Connect them as the main. So now if I will go to my SCD, here are my unused column, which is the same column which is available into the source. Correct. So
Okay.
address ID, I have added it to the source. Then I'm saying that if any of these fields will change, we want to capture the history. So I'll select all of them. Okay, Control A, and bring them into the type 2 fields. Okay, I move them here. Now, what is the field which is the primary key into the table? So the primary key is our PK address key. So we can just copy, means type that field into the surrogate key, right? So this has been all set. Okay. Now, what are the fields using which we want to maintain the version? So those fields are start date, which is equivalent to my start, and I'm going to call it as a start date. Okay. Then I have an end date, which is equivalent to my end date. So I'm going to bring it here, and then we have the I'm capturing the version as well. So versioning is like 0 1 2 3. So version is equal to the version, and I'm going to give the name here as a version. Okay, so once this is done, our SCD configuration has been set. Click OK, and then next step is, now if you will see that, first of all we have to specify the table name as well. So here I'm going to specify the table name, which is our, let's say, D address SCD2. As the table already exists, so I don't have to make the tables. I'm not going to select any of the components. Or if the table does not exist, or if you want to create on the runtime, I will say that create table if does not exist. Or if you want to, so what happened with this, it is going to create only once, right? So I can select, let's say, this option also. And once this is done, then I'm going to go to the edit schema to check that our columns is being specified correctly. So address ID is a key field into the source, but here it is not a key field. I'm going to uncheck this one. Only the PK address key is the key field, right? Other things, we have to match the source, the column which is coming from the source, and the DB column name. So address ID is address ID, address is address, district, postal underscore postal code, phone, PK address key is same. So these columns are all same. Okay, data type also matches. Click OK. And now to handle the rejects, if in any case rejects will happen, we have attached the output delimited also. And then what I have done is, with the output delimited, I'm going to select the file, just do the synchronization of the column. Okay. Yes. The value must be set for the. Oh, we have to specify that. One second. See, so something to remember, if you will see that, as it is a date pattern, so I have to specify the pattern as well, and I'm going to select our common format, which is YYYMMDD. Similarly for this one as well. Okay, this is done, right? And now this has been set. So it was expecting a pattern for the dates. It would have not created any issue, but we have added it. So once this is done, now we can, let's say I'm going to truncate the table. Okay, and execute my job. So it is building the job, and around 603 records has been started from source and has been loaded into the target, which is SCD 2. Let's verify the data. And here we have all the data from the source. Now, if you will make any changes to the source data, okay, I'm going to execute this one, making the change at the source, and then we will rerun the SCD type 2. So let's see, now we should have 106,604 record from the, so yes, we got one which was the initial record, the end date is this one, and the start date is this one, right? So this is how we can do our slowly changing dimension, and we can see that the address has been changed from 184 Hanoi Way to 1288 Hanoi Way. Other things are fine, and even a new primary key has been added to this. So this way we can make our slowly changing dimension type 2.
Hi Sahil, this is Imran.
Yes, Imran.
Yeah, I need help with commit component, DB commit.
What? Yes, what is happening there with the commit?
Yeah, actually it is showing some error. I put that
Okay,
commit on component, okay, and
let me
still
make
it is,
you present.
yeah,
Yeah, sure. Let me make you
yeah,
present.
please.
Okay, see, so when you're doing a commit, first of all, you have to open the connection as well. Means the commit and the DB connection are complementary to each other. Means and first, now if you'll see that you have not specified the component list here. If you wait,
Yeah,
wait. Right. So what is this basically? This is that first you need to open a connection with the TDB connection. Then only you should be using the TDB commit, because by default the commit is going to happen there. But what happens is with that you are performing a row by row commit or a batch by batch commit. Okay. But if you will put a TDB connection, then you are going to open a connection, load all the data, and then just do a commit into the end. So that's why we will add this TTB commit only when we have a TTB connection. So if you're not finding it here, okay, remove this TTB connection. No, from your palette, yeah, remove it. Okay, click on the search box. Okay, now yeah, go to the databases, go to the DB common, yeah, expand it. Here you have the yes TDB connection, bring it, and you have to specify now the database type. Okay, specify the properties. So for this one, if you have a repository connection, right, you can change the property type to the repository instead of manually applying the thing. Repository property type built into repository. Yes, yeah. Click on the ellipsis, specify the connection. Yes, just the connection. Yes, that should fine. Click, select the connection, click OK. Yeah, so it's fine now. Yeah, it's fine. Now go to your TTP commit, specify the component list, apply. Applied already done. So no, save it. Sorry, no, apply. Apply was before. Yeah, save it and connect your TTP connect to the address. Trigger on sub job. Okay. Yes, and yeah. So now run it and it's going to execute.
Okay.
Yes, it's running now.
So actually, what I did was I changed one of the value and changed from this district to this district. So
Yeah. Yep, so it's coming, right?
yeah, so that's how we are expecting the result, right?
Yes,
A
that's all.
previous
Because
record will be ended. And what about okay? And if we want to see the active record, so we have to say that like in date is null.
null. End date is null, or you have to select the maximum of the version number.
Yeah,
Okay.
max of the work.
So, or you can do a row number, means partition the data based on the version and select on descending and then select the particular. So there are many ways to do it.
Yeah,
Simply
yeah,
that purely from the SQL side, that how would you as in SQL to get the data.
yeah. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Anyone else? Any questions?
Yes, Sahil. I do have one question. So now we are dealing with the address ID.
Yes.
So in future, so now only one table we have done. So if you want to do it for 20 tables, so in Ab initio we have a concept of generic graph. So is there any concepts in the talent as well with the same
Uh,
skeleton, passing the parameters values at the runtime and loading different tables with um, one graph?
there is that concept also, but that is available at the enterprise version. I was about to come to that and how you can do that as well. Things that's something. Let's see how we can build SCD2 using that concept. There is a concept of a joblet, and in joblet, what happens basically, you can have the source and the target kind of a thing, which is kind of similar. I mean, what you are expecting, and there is another thing as well, template into the you know our here into the talent. But again, that is for the enterprise edition. So I was supposed to cover that today, but I don't think so I'll be able to do it. But let's see. There is something called Joblet into the Enterprise Edition, which I can, if my system is still connected, which I will definitely show you. It is the part of the course as well. And I'm not sure about the amnesia, but that if you have some in talent, I don't see that you will able to exactly configure the same thing with one template transformation. There's no concept here of basically the dynamic schema. If you want to do that, like which you are expecting a dynamic schema, so you have to write a Java class for that, which can basically do that function. But by default, there is no component which can give you exactly what we are, let's say 20 tables, and with one go, we'll be able to generate for everyone SCD type 2. So that's something not there.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other question? No? Okay. Fine. Let's proceed further. What we have next is, so what next I was about to tell you today is we have something called, so let's say we have created these two jobs, right? And we always have a concept of this master job, and we want to run the things in parallel or sequential. So how we can do that inside the talent. Okay. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all create a new job, and I'm going to call it as a, let's say, master job. Okay. Oh, I
Sahil,
already have. Yes,
You are not
Venkat.
sharing screen.
Oh, sorry. I am sorry. Let me know if you can see the screen.
Yep, now I can.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm creating this one job here. I'm calling it as a SCD master job. Finish it. And then what happens with this is, so we have these two jobs, right? Which one was SCD type 2, okay, and another one was, I think so, this one, SCD job 1, yeah, SCD job 1, right? So basically, now what I have done is I've created one another job, okay, and this component what we are seeing, right, this is the T run job component. So here even you can directly, if you will type it, you will see that T run job component, right? So you can select this component and then which particular job you want to run it, right? One second, it's loading. So which particular job you want to run it, right? You can specify that particular job here from the repository. So let's say I want to start with this one. So this particular job has been specified, and here means now if you want to, which version you want to use, if you have the multiple versions you can select that version as well. Context also, you have the option to specify the context, okay. So now currently what happens is, if I will run this master job, okay, they are all going to run parallelly because we haven't specified any link between them. But let's say first we want to run, I'm going to remove this one. Okay, and the shortcut to do this is whatever the job we have created here, right? We can just drag and drop the job into the another job, and it is going to configure with the properties which is required. So here, if you will see for the context job, the job name and the particular path version, everything has been set it up here. Okay, so this is like a shortcut to do it, or if you want from the palette as well, it is going to be available inside the orchestration. Internet logs or miscellaneous orchestration. We have the T run job available here, right? That can be used it. Now, as I was explaining, so let's say you want to first run the SCD one, so you have the option to select them. So what will happen is now first SCD, no schemas. Why we need the schema for this job? So if you will see that what will happen is this one is going to start, this is going to be the first which we are using, which we can run the job. Okay, if I will remove this particular link between them, okay, so then they're going to run parallelly. And now how we can actually achieve the parallelism is, there is something called multi-threading execution. Okay, so if you will specify the multi-threading execution, then based on how many cores or processor we have, it is going to run the jobs parallelly. Okay, so utilize the sources better. So let's say now I'm going to execute this job. It is building the job, starting the virtual machine. So you can see that both the jobs has been executed successfully. That's why you can see that job SCD master job has been ended. So how we are going to verify? So let me first truncate these two tables so we can actually see that it's working or not. So one second. Here we are loading the data in which table? We are loading in our dim customer. So let's select the dim. Okay. saying that been executed, let's say. So we have received the data in our D address table, and let's see how about the D customer table as well. So we have the data into the D customer as well, which has been just now loaded. 7:50, yeah. So 1 second ago it has been loaded, right? So this is the purpose of the T run job. We can specify this how we want to run it. Means we can specify this as like main, okay, or if we can specify that on sub job, okay. So now once this is going to be executed, then only it is going to start. So like this we can have the parallel execution of the job, or we can have the sequential execution of the job as well into the talent. Another thing is, so this is more about the T-run job. Now, let's move to the talent commercial version. We'll quickly finish that one component, which is our something called joblet. You will not see that option here into the your free version, because that is the version of the enterprise license. In case of a joblet, what happens is, 1 second. So firstly, now if you will see, when you have selected the different components, you don't see anything, right? Means there's no, if you right click on any component as well, you don't see any option of a data viewer, or you don't see any option of a parallelism as well, right? When it comes to the free version, but there are some of the properties which is available at the enterprise edition. What are they? Let's jump to that. Okay, let me connect to my VM once it will happen quickly.